Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a full guide for Lumi, the upcoming character for the second phase of 1.4, which will start in just a few days. I've got all the tips you need to make her shine, from her kit, rotation, to best weapons, teams, and materials. Everything you need to know before she drops. So let's get started. Lumi is a 4-star Electro DPS who wields a broad blade and offers a unique, flexible playstyle. She can serve as either a main DPS or sub-DPS, making her a versatile option for many teams. Lumi's standout feature is her ability to switch between two modes, yellow light and red light, using her resonance skills, allowing her to adapt her attacks based on the situation. In yellow light mode, triggered by her resonance skill Pounce, Lumi focuses on ranged attacks that lock onto enemies. She can also enter zoom mode, a high-speed state that allows her to reposition and attack while keeping her distance. This mode sacrifices dodging and drains stamina over time, so efficient stamina management is essential. Yellow light mode excels at maintaining steady damage output while avoiding close combat. In contrast, red light mode, activated by her skill rebound, shifts Lumi into a melee-focused playstyle. In this mode, her basic attacks deal consistent damage, while her heavy attacks unleash shockwaves of electro energy, offering a mix of ranged and close-quarters capabilities. Red light mode is ideal for players who prefer direct, aggressive combat. The ability to switch freely between modes with no cooldown makes Lumi incredibly fun and versatile to play. A unique aspect of Lumi's design is her Duo Forte gauge, with separate gauges for each mode. Attacking in yellow or red light modes fills their respective gauges. Once full, her resonance skills upgrade to Energized Pounce and Energized Rebound, which deal significantly increased damage. This mechanic rewards players for mastering both of her stances and adapting their playstyle during combat. Lumi's Liberation skill serves as a standard burst of electro damage, fitting well with her overall playstyle. However, her real value comes from her Outro skill, which provides a 38% resonance skill damage bonus to the next character for 10 seconds. This makes her an excellent buffer for skill-dependent DPS characters. Moving on to her resonance chain. As a 4-star character, Lumi offers excellent value through her sequence nodes. These upgrades significantly enhance her utility and damage potential, especially for main DPS builds. Key nodes include ignoring 20% of enemy defense, boosting resonance liberation damage by 30%, and increasing basic attack damage by 30%. Her final sequence node provides a 20% team-wide attack buff upon activating resonance liberation, making her invaluable as a sub-DPS buffer for any skill damage allies. With her kit out of the way, let me show you a basic rotation that you can do. Note that she is still not released, so I couldn't test her fully. So this rotation might not be the best, but it's just here to give you an idea on how to play her. Lumi's rotation is pretty straightforward, but there's room for creativity based on how you want to play her. I recommend staying in her melee mode to deal consistent damage while charging your concerto. Alternatively, you can spam her skill to bounce bosses back and forth for better damage, but this will consume your stamina extremely fast, so use it wisely. Once you hit Liberation and her Outro skill is ready, cast the Heron, and then instantly swap to your main DPS for devastating follow-up damage. Her main role is to buff your main DPS, so you want her to be on field as little as possible, focusing only on concerto gain. Moving on to her weapon options, Lumi wields a broad blade, and the weapon you choose will significantly affect her performance. Here's my breakdown of the best options. Verdant Summit. Gion's signature weapon is Lumi's best in-slot. It provides crit damage as the main stat and a 12% damage buff. This is perfect for boosting her overall damage output. Ages of Harvest. Jinzi's signature weapon comes in at second place. It offers crit rate as the main stat and the same 12% damage buff, making it another excellent choice. Lustrous Razor. The standard 5-star option is a solid pick for players who don't have access to signature weapons. It provides attack percent as the main stat and a 12% energy regen bonus. But if you're looking for 4-star alternatives, here are my recommendations. Autumntra. This is the best 4-star option, giving crit rate as the main stat and up to a 20% attack buff. Helios Cleaver. Another great choice. It provides attack percent as the main stat and up to a 12% attack buff. That's pretty much it for her weapons. Anyway, if you're playing her as sub DPS, you won't really need to rely on her own damage. It's not that big of a deal, I think. Let's now take a look at her best teams. Lumi works best as a sub DPS and buffer, thanks to her outro skill, which delivers a massive skill damage buff for the next character. In this role, she pairs excellently with main DPS who rely heavily on skill damage. Jinzi and Changli are top choices for Lumi, as both scale primarily with skill damage. Looking ahead, Carlotta, who's arriving in patch 2.0, will also benefit greatly from Lumi's buffs. But if you want to play Lumi as your main DPS, pair her with Sanhua. Sanhua's outro provides a basic attack damage buff, and if you have her at S6, even better, she will provide an additional 20% buff after detonating the ice. This synergy is fantastic because Lumi relies on basic attack damage, so Sanhua is for sure her best in slot support. And, as always for healers, the best option is always Shorekeeper until we get another limited 5-star healer. Now, when it comes to echo sets, here's what you should focus on. You want to use Moonlit Clouds if you're building Lumi as a sub DPS for the buffs that it provides to the next character. But for a main DPS setup, you can go with the Void Thunder set. Keep in mind that in 2.0, we'll see new Echoes and Sonata sets introduced, and one of them might end up being Lumi's best in slot. It might be worth waiting for it before spending your Echo materials just in case there is a better set for her. And for the stats and substats, it's pretty straightforward. You want to have crit rate or crit damage on the 4 cost depending on the weapon you will give her, double Electro for the 3 cost, and double attack for the 1 cost. For the substats, you want to focus crit rate and crit damage as always, but also attack percent, basic attack percent, and flat attack. Now the part you've been waiting for, her materials. So you can start farming before she releases. To fully ascend Lumi and Max out her potential, you'll need the following materials. She will need Howler core items, 46 Thundering Mephis boss item, and 60 Terraspawn fungus that you can collect in the overworld. For her talent tree, you will need 26 Sentinel's dagger from Jue, and Waveworn residue for her forgery materials. Alright, that wraps up our guide for Lumi. Whether you plan to use her as a sub DPS buffer or as a main DPS, she's an incredibly versatile and powerful character with tons of potential. Be sure to farm her materials right now if you're looking to pull for her. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on everything about Wuthering Waves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.